Hello, how's it going? It's me, Nimis, and I'm here to talk about my OC design, getting a redesign. So the character that I have here is an original character. I made her a long time ago. We're not going to talk about how long ago, but she was originally a Suikoden character based off of Gento Suikoden and I've made various iterations of her throughout the years, and every time I decide to make a new one, I want to make a different version that has the same vibe as the original. Sometimes I can get it and sometimes I can't. Now, what you're seeing here on screen is my most recent version of her, where she's lawful impure, which is like a D&D thing I found online that I thought was really cool. Think like Bellatrix Lestrange, kind of. Not crazy, but like the loyalty level to Voldemort. So I actually was I was coloring this on screen on my live stream on my other channel, Friendly Neighborhood Artist, if you want to follow me over there. And it took me the entire time to pick colors because I have a hard time color picking. So after I color picked the entire thing, and I thought this outfit looked so good, I did so much research for things like symbolic meanings and all that thing. I had it. But what ended up happening is that when I started putting it together and I started putting the colors together, it just looked wrong. Either my clothing, I'm really bad at drawing clothes, so I figured I would have to figure something else out because what I had was not working. The front part is weird. That little hanging part is also weird. The ruffles in the front is weird, and it feels too decorative. And when I was looking back at the original designs that I made of her, and designs based off of that game, it looked like totally different. And I think the problem is because I did this from imagination. I had an imagination of what a nun's outfit would look like in my world, and I didn't look at other nuns or other cleric type characters before I did this, and I just winged the whole thing. Which, let me tell you, I am the master of winging it and not knowing the outcome. Do not be me. Do not do that. I am that person, okay? So, I've always made outfits for her based off of the personality and alignment that is the plot that I want to role play, or that I want to talk about, or I want to write about. So I decided that I'm going to have to go and redesign because the colors from the original looked good, but it looked bad on her, no matter what I did. So I was like, alright. So while I was on my live stream, I was picking up things from Pinterest and other websites and Google search, hoping that that would maybe make it a little bit better. And eventually I did find kind of what I was searching for. And I did look at other concept art and other real versions of nuns, because I know that nuns are supposed to be completely covered, but I just wanted a different version of it because, damn it, those boots I drew are so pretty and so perfect that I thought it would be a waste to have them hidden. And there's other ones that show the boots, but they never go above the ankle. But her boots are like slightly above the ankle, and I like them so much that I just wanted to keep them. I wanted fashion. Okay, fashion. So this character has gone through so many iterations that I felt like, all right, I need to pick something that's a little bit better, more fitted for the religion, and this is what I was starting to come out with. The purple lines that you're seeing here are me going over my original lines because I'm not getting rid of this. I'm not doing a new drawing because the drawing itself is good. Everything is good. I think the anatomy is good, but the outfit is bad. And you can see even now, I'm drawing that little circle in the front. That circle in the front is flat. I'm going to have to fix it. And I'm looking at these pictures I picked because, kind of like the one over to the right, the blue nun, that was more what I was thinking. But it's just so much clothes, it's just so much. Because the way that the nuns are in my world, in Solstice, is that they wear blindfolds and they're pretty much covered. And they can't see for the most part. Like, they're not blind, but their eyes are covered because, like, it's considered a sin to see, because if you see, you can make judgments. So the idea is to not see and make judgments based off of what you're hearing versus what you're seeing. And you basically can't sin if you can't see. That's the idea behind it. And so taking off your blindfold is only, at night when you're alone, because when you're alone, you're not sinning against others, maybe yourself, but that's not the point, but I'm just kind of explaining it. But here I decided that I was going to do kind of the little thing in the front, because I noticed that no matter what concept design that I look at, all of them kind of have that little thing in the front. Like you see the one near the bottom and the one near the top and the one up on the second row. They all have this little shielding. I don't know what you call it. It's something. They all have that little thing right there. And I figured I'm definitely going to have that thing. And I know some of them have the turtlenecks, but I just don't like the turtlenecks, because I feel like even though she's a nun and it's supposed to be religious, I want it to be fashionable, because the type of religion it's mostly like a mental religion. It's not like physical, because it's about like hiding your emotions and not showing your feelings and keeping everything to yourself and being pleasant. Did you guys ever see the movie like Pleasantville? It's almost a little bit like Pleasantville, like where everyone is attempting to be pleasant, so people don't show negative emotions. So because it's like a very emotive thing, I feel like people would be very fashionable in their own way. Because my world is, even though it's like late Middle Ages, I kind of like mix a few ideas, because I really like colonial punk. I don't know if you guys ever heard of colonial punk, but my world is colonial punk. But I like to mix the idea of like, late Middle Ages to early colonial punk. So my world does have some tech, it does have guns, but I keep everything on like a down low, because I feel like if you go further than colonial punk, you're hitting the Victorian era, and I just don't know what to do with magic in the Victorian era, so I just don't touch it. I can't even think of any books that are Victorian era fantasy. I know that there's some, but they're mostly like, like in Europe, where there's like werewolves and vampires and shit. So back to this. I wanted to keep some of the elements. I definitely wanted to keep the gloves that go over over the thumb and not the rest of the fingers. I don't know why. I feel like I feel like I could make a reason in the religion why the thumb has to be covered. But in reality, I just think it's an interesting design choice. So that's why I'm keeping it. And I liked the little dots on the side. I also wanted to give her a veil that was different than the original, because I paid people to do like designs of her, and I love those designs, don't get me wrong, some of them are great, but I feel like they're not her. They don't make sense. Maybe it's because I didn't draw it, but sometimes I'll commission people and I will 100% love what they made, and sometimes I'll commission people and I'll be like, I'm never going to use this. So it's just ends up in a folder on my computer. And, I appreciate the work people done for me, but sometimes I don't even know what I want, and I just throw money at artists. So, but anyway, I also wanted to talk about my anthology that I'm writing a little bit. So I decided that I was going to make an anthology about this flower going extinct in my world that has special powers. And I'm going to use some of the characters from my world to go with that. And Kiteswa, this character here, is one of them. But I haven't decided what iteration of her I'm going to use. I'm really, really into the nun thing because I feel like it's so different and so unique, different. Because usually when you see like a character that is like a chosen one, they have kind of like a life that's very like they could do whatever. Like they're like, think about like Link, you know? Link is literally just sleeping in the Kokiri village. You know, he's always just some guy hanging out. And I wanted to avoid that. I wanted to have someone who was put together, had their life in check, you know, like, you know, maybe had their family, like things that would prevent you from leaving. but I wanted to have another reason for her to leave, and having her own personal freedom always sounded like a good idea to me. Now, I did want to mention while I'm doing this redesign, I know you guys see flowers as part of the redesign for this nun, and I have a special flower that is like basically the blue poppy from the Himalayas. That's what it is. It's like the blue poppy. And I thought it could be something that is her individuality, and I know that nuns are not supposed to look different. They're all supposed to look the same, but she doesn't look like them because she has antlers, and she's going to have like little earrings, and she's going to have like a little blue thing in her hair, like a little flower. And I just wanted to go with that because I wanted to have her individuality, even though she's going to be very emotionally like cut off. But so far, I'm really into what I've done here. I think the veil part of the outfit is exactly what I was looking for. I feel like I could have made her hair a little longer because so in Solstice, it's a little bit like North Korea. Like, not completely, but I took different pieces and parts. So they have like hairstyles that you should and shouldn't have. Some people have different ones, but the nuns are supposed to have certain hairstyles, and they're supposed to have a braid, and it's supposed to be short, but she has like a long, like fluffy thing going on. And the braid is supposed to be, the braid version is later. I'll put up the braid version because I did it for my Christmas video. You guys saw it, so I'm gonna like do a little card so you can see it if you want. But this part here, like, let me tell you, I cannot draw antlers to save my skin. If someone was like, I'm gonna need you to draw accurate elk antlers, I'm gonna die. I don't know how people draw antlers correctly every single time and they can just get it perfect. Like, I've been drawing fucking antlers for like 10 years now. I've been drawing antlers and I still can't get the antlers right. I always have to look at a reference. I always need a reference where I can turn it around. I need to look at multiple different animals to see if I'm doing the right one. It's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. So I do have, for this, I actually do have the symbols already drawn, but they're on a different layer. And I bought this like PDF book that lets you look at religious symbolism because it was just too complicated. But I bought this book for $5, and you can see like I'm kind of putting it together. I do like the long arms with the deep like other shirt underneath it that goes all the way down her hands. I really like that idea that she's covered not only with the outfit she's wearing, but she's covered in like maybe 3 layers of clothes because it's kind of cold up in Solstice, But I think that if you're gonna design a character, you're gonna need to definitely look at references of other things that look like that, because doing it from imagination, it sounds like a good in theory, but it is never good in practice. I can tell you from experience, I love designing characters, and sometimes I just design them and I think of what I want to do, and I can tell you 90% of the time when I'm drawing a character and I decide not to use a clothing reference, I am just drawing some ugly version of colonial period clothes. That is what I'm drawing. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go along, hoping that something will come from it. So don't be me. Don't be me. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if this video is going to help out anybody, but I hope that maybe like seeing what goes on in my mind when I'm designing characters is really helpful to you or helpful to anyone who comes across these. So maybe my top tips would be like, try to find references based on the thing you want to do. Look at other concept art. Look at things that you actually were inspired by originally. I probably should have looked at some Suikoden art before I did this. And I'll probably do a little bit of extra like fixing or whatever as I get closer to finishing this. But for the most part, I just wanted to redesign the actual dress as a whole and the way that the veil covers, and maybe make her antlers a little bit smaller. like, because when I imagine the antlers, like, even though she has a pendant that can make them disappear, like where they feel like they're not there so she can sleep, I feel like the antlers would be a problem in literally so many situations, because most of my characters don't have horns or antlers. Some of them do, but they're not big, and they definitely don't take up this much space as antlers would. So I need to figure out how I'm going to deal with the antler situation. But for my next tip is go based on like the world design of that you're trying to do. Like, I'm trying to do something that's deeply religious, right? And I want it to be different than other religious looks, but I want it to be feeling familiar, because people like things that feel familiar. If you make something too different, there's going to be some people that like it, but not everyone is going to like it, you know? I also try to give you guys a little bit of information about the character I'm talking about, since she's going to be in one of my novels. But if this is something that you're into and this is your first time here, hi, I'm Nimbus. You know, please come and subscribe to my channel. I would love to, you know, get to 1,000 subscribers for my art. It would just, I don't know, it would mean the world to me if I knew people loved my art, because on my other channel I feel like people don't come there for my art, and it's a different feeling knowing that people don't come for your art. They do come for you, but not your art. And that's why I made this channel. So now that I'm pretty much finished with this, I'll probably make another video, or maybe I won't. I'll do a full like speed paint so you guys can see the end result. And I guess I'll probably see you guys in the next one, because I don't know what my next video is going to be about. I have a hard time coming up with videos. I think it'll be another traditional painting type. And if traditional painting, like, you know, with acrylic markers is your thing, you can see my Jinx and my Echo artwork. You can pick either or. I'll put them both at the end of the video, and, you know, maybe you'll watch and maybe you won't. But I know that I'm like just re-going over my artwork here. I was going to try to do like a different eye direction, but I think the side eye is very like Kaitsua. Well, the impure evil, impure girl version of her. Because I always think that she's like unamused by everyone and everything, because she's just so oppressed, like, emotionally. I mean, that's how I would feel. I would always be giving people the side eye if I was her. But I guess this is where I'm gonna let you guys go. I really appreciate you guys coming and watching my videos. You know, I put out videos once a week. I haven't figured out a perfect day. And if you guys like this video but you don't know what to say, I guess just put a shrimp in the comments, because we are all shrimpified for the rest of our lives, because we lean over and we are hurting our backs permanently. And just as a little side thing, if you didn't know, I do take commissions, and I commission for critiques for people's world building and people's art. I do that on VGen. I will link my VGen in the description below. And feel free to follow me on there. And if you have any questions, feel free to come to my Discord. I'm always available to talk. I'll see you next time, guys.